Hey everyone, Andy Raffel from eTeknix.com. Now we all know that when it comes to gaming graphics cards, Gigabyte always seem to have that sweet spot with the gaming OC. So today, we're looking at the RTX 3080 gaming OC. Let's do this. Do you sometimes feel like there's not enough RGB in your life?
Yay!
Or are you one of those people who's actually starting to get a bit of a tan off of your system?
Yay!
Well, no matter what the situation, you're in luck. Thanks to Team Group. With Team Group's gaming extreme ARGB DDR4 memory, you can choose how much lighting you have in your life. A sleek mirrored design that really stands out, or fully lit for the people that just can't get enough. High speeds of up to 4000 MHz, these memory modules really do have it all. A premium set of memory without the premium cost. Check out the link in the description to find out more. So as I mentioned at the start of this video, I've always been a massive fan of the gaming OC cards from Gigabyte. They always seem to give you everything that you need and kind of leave out the stuff that you don't need. So they generally aren't the cheapest, they aren't the most expensive, they kind of sit somewhere in the middle. But that's not necessarily a bad thing because the performance, generally speaking, matches up with the price point. So let's talk about price. So to start with, it comes in at £750 or $750 if you're over the other side of the pond. That puts it about $50 more or $100 more over the MSRP of a reference and or founder's card. Obviously, if you don't want to spend that amount of money, you can always go reference, or you could even go a little bit cheaper, even with Gigabyte's own cards. They do have the Eagle Edition cards. Consequently, if you want to go a little bit more expensive than a gaming OC, there is their Aorus branded cards as well. So what do you actually get with the gaming OC? I mean, typically it looks like something that we've seen before. I guess the design has been a little bit more refined. It's a little bit chunkier, I'll give it that, but not too much. I mean, in terms of the actual dimensions of the card, you're going to be looking at 320mm in length, 129mm in width, and 55mm in height. It's not the most power-hungry card on the market. It does come with just two 8-pins, which I guess when comparing to other cards from competitors like MSI with a Gaming X Trio, it's kind of, more close to a reference-based design. Now, talking about a reference-based design on this card, the PCB, for the most part, looks very, very similar to a reference design, at least up into kind of this point about here. Above and beyond that, it actually looks like they've done a few little bits of jiggery pokery. So what they've done is they've added connectors in for the RGB elements, added in connectors for the fan elements, and then just simply moved the power connectors over to the side just to kind of, extend it out that little bit. Sticking with the PCB, you will find that once we take the backplate off, and we've got plenty of B-roll to show you this, it has got those dreaded SP caps, or are they POS caps? Either way, I'm not an electrical engineer, but I do know that the NVIDIA spec basically calls for 220 microfarad capacitors on the back of the card, or a collection of MLCC, ceramic capacitors, to build up to the same level. Well, Gigabyte with this particular card have actually gone with 470 microfarad capacitors, so they've actually gone well above and beyond NVIDIA's own spec. Talking about spec, we all know that the reference-based design has a core clock boost, at least, of 1710. This actually comes in a little bit higher at 1800 MHz, so that's kind of why you're paying that little bit extra over an MSRP reference-based card. In terms of the memory, it's the same as all the other cards out there at 1188 or 19 gigabits per second effective. Other specs of the card, as you'd expect with kind of any 3080, it has 10 gig of GDDR6X, and in terms of the connectors on the back, we do have a multitude of DisplayPort and HDMI. So the DisplayPorts are DisplayPort 1.4 and the HDMI are 2.1. So that means that you're going to be able to, if you wanted to, in theory, use this in conjunction with one of the new LG NanoCell TVs at 8K in glorious 60Hz. Is it really that glorious when it's 60? I guess at 8K, yes it is. So with all the, let's call it, boring stuff aside, I guess, the main reason that you guys are here watching this video is to see exactly how it performs. So yes, we did test it at 1080p, 1440, and also 4K, but we took it one step further and, of course, tested it at 8K. Run them glorious benchmarks. So performance-wise, where did the gaming OC basically land? Well, as I said in the beginning of this video, it kind of sits somewhere in between in terms of pricing, sits somewhere in between in terms of the specifications, in terms of the boost clock. And guess where it sat exactly when it comes to the benchmarks? Some benchmarks it was ahead, some it was behind, but for the most part you could average that out and it sits pretty much slap bang in the middle. It's not the quietest card out there, it's not the loudest card, it's not the most power hungry, but you know, it's not fantastic. It kind of sits in that weird comfortable ground, and maybe that's what Gigabyte have gone for, because that way I guess it allows them to try and upsell you to the Aorus cards if you want that extra performance, but of course at a premium. But if you don't want to spend that sort of money, you can always go for the Eagle card, closer to sort of, you know, your MSRP pricing. Really seems like Gigabyte kind of has something for everyone in each different tier, and I really, really like the fact that they've done that. So yeah, let me know what you guys kind of think in the comments section below. I've always been a massive fan of the gaming OC cards in general. They just, I don't know, they just work. They seem to do exactly what they set out to do. It's exactly what it says on the tin.
It does exactly what it says on the tin.
So yeah, let me know in the comments section below exactly what you guys think, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know exactly what to do, and I will see you in the next one. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.